Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, place where ordinary change leads to extraordinary surprises. Today we are shifting our attention from pennies to one of the smallest yet most powerful coins in American pocket change, a coin so common you might overlook it a dozen times a day without stopping to appreciate its hidden secrets. Get ready as we dive deep into the fascinating history, design details, and jaw-dropping collector potential of the United States of America Roosevelt one dime from the unforgettable year of 1987. Because this tiny 10-cent piece might just be worth far more than you ever dreamed possible. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American coinage since 1946, issued just 1 year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, to honor his leadership and dedication, especially in the fight against polio. With his profile facing left, designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime quickly became a symbol of national pride and resilience. But the 1987 mint-marked versions, produced at Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, Denver, D., and San Francisco, S., carry fascinating differences that have transformed some of these ordinary coins into the crowning jewels of serious coin collections. This is a year known among collectors for sharp strikes, proof issues, experimental die work, and incredible minting errors that can skyrocket their value far beyond face value. To truly appreciate why people are hunting for the 1987 Roosevelt dime so eagerly, you need to look beyond its small size and simple value. First, take a close look at the coin. Roosevelt's portrait should show delicate hairlines, crisp eyebrows, and a sharp jawline. Anything blurry or weak and the strike may be typical. But the rare, highly sought-after coins are those with full strike definition and so-called full bands on the torch on the reverse. Those horizontal lines across the torch's bands are notoriously hard to strike perfectly. A dime that shows completely separated and well-formed upper and lower bands immediately catches the eyes of specialists. Even more exciting are the rare S mint-proof coins from San Francisco, originally made only for collectors but sometimes accidentally slipping into circulation or being passed down through heirs who had no idea of their value. Now here's where things get really thrilling. 1987 produced some spectacular mint errors and die varieties. One of the most famous is the double die obverse, in which Roosevelt's I, the letters In God We Trust, and the date appear doubled under magnification. These random errors occur during the creation of the dies and result in unique coins unlike any other. There are also off-center strikes from 1987 where the entire design appears shifted, leaving a portion of the coin blank, and wrong planchet errors, where a Roosevelt dime design was accidentally struck on planchets meant for pennies or foreign coins. Every error type is like a fingerprint, no two are exactly alike, which makes them a dream for collectors who are constantly battling over who gets to own the finest and most dramatic versions. Metal composition plays a huge role in the value, too. By 1987, Roosevelt dimes were being struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. Yet collectors still crave examples with perfect, lustrous silvery surfaces and clean fields without scratches, spots, or haze. An untouched example from a mint set or proof set can look like a mirror and sparkle when light hits it at the right angle, and if such a specimen happens to carry an error or full band detail, its desirability instantly explodes. Factor in professional grading from services like PCGS or NGC and a high grade like MS-67 or an ultra cameo proof grade, and now you are dealing with a coin collectors will chase relentlessly. What makes the 1987 dime especially exciting is that it is modern enough that many people still have them in old jars, drawers, or collections, and yet old enough to have survived more than 3 decades of circulation. That means most examples out there are worn, scratched, dinged, and tarnished, which is why a dazzling, untouched survivor is so rare and valuable today. People find these coins in all kinds of places: inherited proof sets from grandparents, forgotten coin rolls stashed in closets, unsearched bags from estate auctions, and sometimes even slipping through in pocket change when least expected. The thrill that drives this hobby is knowing that treasure doesn't always come in golden bars or buried chests. Sometimes it's right there on your kitchen counter, waiting for you to recognize its true worth. So how do you know if your 1987 Roosevelt dime is special? Begin by checking for the mint mark. Is there a bold D under the year? That means it came from Denver. No mint mark means Philadelphia. A shining S signifies a proof from San Francisco, which already sets it apart. Then look closely at Roosevelt's portrait: strong hair detail, smooth cheek, clear lines. Flip it over. Does the torch have clearly split bands? Are the olive branches and flames crisp and sharp? Next, break out a magnifier and look for doubling or any striking abnormality. If you suspect a proof coin or find a sharp, lustrous example with a potential error, protect it immediately and consider getting it graded. Because collectors are lining up to pay top dollar for exceptional pieces, every tiny Roosevelt dime is a time capsule. It has traveled from mint presses through countless pockets, purses, and cash registers, witnessing decades of American life. What looks common to nearly everyone can, under the right circumstances, transform into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. That's the magic of coin collecting, the idea that history and fortune are hiding right under our noses. Today our spotlight shines on a tiny but powerful piece of American currency, the Roosevelt one dime from the year 1980. Don't let its small size fool you. This little coin has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and turned unsuspecting people into instant success stories. What looks like an ordinary 10-cent piece could actually be a valuable key to a forgotten treasure, just waiting for someone like you to recognize its true worth. So settle in and let's uncover why the 1980 Roosevelt dime deserves a second look, because once you know what to search for, you'll never look at dimes the same way again. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of U.S. coinage ever since 1946, honoring one of the most iconic leaders in American history, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. His portrait by John R. Cynic displays quiet strength and resolve, a tribute to the man who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. On the reverse, the flaming torch flanked by olive and oak branches symbolizes liberty, peace, and victory, but that tiny design hides layers of mystery that only trained eyes spot. The 1980 version of this dime comes from a fascinating era when the U.S. Mint was transitioning technology, experimenting with dies, and pushing millions of coins into circulation, setting the stage for striking variations, valuable mint errors, and rare specimens that today can make this dime worth a fortune. To get started on your search, you'll need to look for the mint mark just to the left of the torch on the reverse. A P indicates Philadelphia, making its debut appearance on dimes in 1980 after decades without a Philadelphia mint mark. A bold D shows that it comes from the Denver Mint. And if you are holding an S, you've got a proof coin produced in San Francisco for collectors. While Philadelphia coins are generally the most common, even among those there are rare examples struck with unbelievable sharpness, full band details on the torch, or eye-catching mirror-like surfaces. These are the dimes that shine like silver when light hits them just right, and these are the dimes that collectors go crazy trying to secure. Here's where things get truly exciting. The U.S. Mint's switch to copper-nickel clad composition meant these dimes were struck using a copper core coated in nickel. Errors from this era can include wrong planchets, for instance, a dime design struck on a penny or foreign coin planchet, off-center strikes where a dramatic portion of the design is missing, clipped planchets where a curved chunk has been cut out of the rim, and the ever-famous double die errors, where letters or numbers appear doubled because of a misalignment during die production. Rumors have circulated for years among coin collectors about spectacular 1980 double die obverse dimes, Roosevelt's eye showing a shadowed double image, the words "I and God We Trust" stacking themselves on top of each other under magnification, or the date 1980 appearing doubled. These coins are not only visually impressive, they're rare. And rarity in coin collecting always drives value skyward. Imagine finding a dime with those kinds of dramatic features hiding in plain sight inside your change. It's not a fantasy. People have discovered valuable 1,980 dimes in rolls picked up from local banks, in coffee can coin stashes left behind by grandparents, even tucked into cash drawers in mom-and-pop shops. The beauty of this hobby is that the next big discovery could be waiting for you. When you check your dimes, make sure to examine Roosevelt's profile: clear hairlines, crisp lettering, sharp rims, and no flatness or weakness in the strike could all be signs of a high-quality coin. Flip it carefully to inspect the lines on the torch. If the horizontal bands are fully separated and well-defined, you may have a full-band example, and that instantly boosts a dime's value among serious collectors. Add any kind of error, and watch its desirability soar. Condition is everything. Most 1980 dimes in circulation today are scratched, dented, and worn down after decades of service in pockets and cash registers. But an untouched mint-state coin can look brilliant, lustrous, and flawless. Grades like MS-66, MS-67, and especially MS-68 command strong attention, while proof coins with ultra-cameo finish from San Francisco are breathtaking. Deep, mirror-like fields and sharp white devices make them appear sculpted from light itself. If you ever come across one with pristine surfaces, your next step should be certification. A slab from NGC or PCGS not only protects the coin but can open doors to high-end collectors and auction houses where bidding wars begin. Just imagine it. An ordinary 1980 Roosevelt dime that passed unnoticed through decades of transactions might become the star of your coin collection. People often think treasure must be buried in pirate chests under dirt and coral, but in truth some of the world's greatest hidden riches are floating through our daily lives, left in jars, dropped between sofa cushions, forgotten in rolls we meant to cash in. The thrill of finding such a coin is not just about the money. It's about the joy of discovery, the connection to American history, and the realization that sometimes we hold greatness in our hands without even knowing it. So tonight, or tomorrow, when you sift through your change before tossing it aside, slow down just for a moment. Look at every dime you come across. Check the mint mark. Study the torch. Inspect every detail with fresh curiosity. Because the next time your fingers brush over a 1980 Roosevelt dime, that tiny silver-colored disc tucked between your keys and receipts, you could be touching something truly extraordinary without realizing it. Today we're unlocking the mystery behind a coin so familiar that most people never stop to look at it twice, the United States of America Roosevelt $1 dime from 1977. This little silver-colored coin has traveled through millions of hands and pockets since the late 1970s, but only a tiny handful were struck with the kind of precision, detail, and rarity that turn it from a simple 10-cent piece into a jaw-dropping treasure. If you think a dime is just worth 10 cents, today's journey might change your mind forever. Stay with me right to the end because after we explore the history, design, secret errors, and wild collector stories connected to this dime, you'll be racing to search every coin you have, because you could be moments away from your own shocking discovery. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a larger-than-life figure whose leadership, warmth, and determination left a mark on the American story. The portrait created by designer John R. Sinek captures Roosevelt in a strong, thoughtful profile, and over the decades, this design has become so familiar that most people no longer truly look at it. But the 1977 version is part of a thrilling chapter in the coin's lifetime. The mint in that era was producing billions of coins while pushing machines to extremes, and during that process occasional flaws, misstrikes, and radical die clashes slipped undetected into the production line. These mistakes are what collectors crave, because a mint error can transform an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece worth far more than face value. Start by glancing at the left side of the reverse, that's where you'll find the mint mark. A D indicates it was struck in Denver, where strikes were usually strong but occasional off-center examples are known. An S identifies a proof coin from San Francisco, meticulously made for collectors with mirror-like fields and frosted raised images. Coins with no mint mark were created in Philadelphia. Now as you hold your 1977 dime in hand, examine Roosevelt's face. The most valuable examples are sharply struck, tiny hairlines visible, jawline crisp, and "In God We Trust" standing out boldly, even under magnification. Flip the coin over and focus on the torch. Collectors look for full bands, where the two narrow lines at the top and bottom of the torch are perfectly separated, a sign of a strong strike and often a clue that the coin was never circulated. These full band dimes are highly desirable and fetch premium prices on the collector market, but what truly drives serious buzz in the world of rare coins are the spectacular minting errors. The 1977 dime produced several varieties that leave collectors astonished even today. Double die obverse, where Roosevelt's I or the date appears doubled, off-center strikes where the design is shifted dramatically toward one side, and wrong planchet errors, particularly dimes accidentally struck on smaller penny-sized blanks. Each of these makes the 1977 dime extremely exciting to hunt. Even subtle variations like a repunched mint mark can send an expert's heart racing. These error coins are almost impossible to duplicate, which is why wealthy collectors will pay huge money to acquire them. The fun part is that many of these special dimes were never separated out, they slipped quietly into circulation back in the 1970s and could still be waiting in bank rolls, old jars, or junk drawers today. The condition of your coin plays a huge role. Most 1977 dimes have darkened, worn surfaces from decades of use. But occasionally, you'll come across a coin that looks like it was frozen in time: bright, reflective surfaces, sharp rim, crisp details across every figure and letter. These are the coins you should treasure and protect. The highest graded examples at professional grading services like NGC and PCGS have commanded serious attention, and when rarity and pristine condition intersect on the same coin, serious collectors show up to bid. just imagine finding a dime that has been hiding in your change for years, one you might have nearly spent without thinking. It's not just worth 10 cents, it's a historic artifact minted during America's post-Vietnam era, a symbol of leadership during turbulent times, and a tiny sculpture struck in bright copper nickel that could fund your dreams. That's what makes this hobby so thrilling, the knowledge that around any corner, in any pocket, there might be a coin so special that your life could change in an instant. That's why collectors keep looking, digging through every roll, examining every coin under a jeweler's loupe, hoping for the moment they strike gold. So the next time you walk past a coin on the ground or pour loose change onto the counter, take your time. Examine those dimes carefully, look for that S or D, check the full bands, inspect for doubling, and never underestimate how something so small can hold such immense value. Because today we're diving into a coin that's so common in appearance most people toss it into tip jars, drop it without a thought, or let it rattle around at the bottom of their purse, the 1990 Roosevelt 1 dime. But make no mistake, this tiny 10-cent coin from the United States of America hides secrets so valuable they can send shockwaves through the collecting community. Yes, this is the dime you've seen thousands of times, featuring the familiar face of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But today we're going to uncover the hidden features and rare mistakes that transform ordinary into extraordinary. If you stick with me till the end, you might just find yourself rushing to inspect every single dime inside your home, because your next big discovery could be silently waiting in your own pocket. The Roosevelt dime has been produced for decades as a tribute to one of America's most courageous and respected leaders. Introduced in 1946, the dime has remained virtually unchanged for generations. Roosevelt's determined profile on one side and the flame-topped torch on the other, flanked by olive and oak branches to symbolize peace, strength, and liberty. But in 1990, something thrilling was happening behind the scenes at the United States Mint. 3 different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, were striking dimes at lightning speed to meet circulation demand. This resulted in a year full of fascinating varieties, unintended minting errors, and stunning high-grade specimens that collectors now hunt obsessively. To begin your treasure hunt, look for the mint mark to the left of the torch on the reverse. A bold D means your dime was minted in Denver. A striking S means San Francisco, especially important because that mint made only proof coins in 1990, mirror-like beauties originally designed just for collectors. And if your dime has no mint mark, then it was pumped out of Philadelphia, where the majority were made. But here's the magic, not all dimes are created equal, even within those mints. Denver coins can feature razor-sharp strikes, Philadelphia dimes might show weak lettering, and San Francisco proofs can vary between frosty, cameo perfection or oddly frosted fields. It's that diversity that brings electrifying opportunity. Collectors are particularly drawn to the 1990 Roosevelt dime because of its minting errors, the unexpected flange where the metal misaligned during striking, the off-center designs that look like the coin is sliding off the blank, or rare double die errors where Roosevelt's eye, ear, the date, or the words "I and God We Trust" show a ghostly double image when magnified. One famous story tells of a collector finding a heavily doubled 1990 dime where even the torch bands appeared doubled, a textbook candidate for sky-high value because of its unmistakable error. Another incredible type of rarity from this year is the mule or wrong planchet strike, where the design for a dime was accidentally struck onto a copper penny planchet or foreign blank, creating a bizarre, hybrid-looking coin. These errors are visually striking, easy to recognize once you know what to look for, and jaw-droppingly valuable because they are so scarce. Let's talk about condition. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and 1990 dimes that truly bring top dollar are ones in pristine, untouched mint state with blazing luster and no circulation wear. One way collectors rank dimes from this year is by whether they have full torch bands, meaning the 2 thin lines near the top and bottom of the torch on the reverse are fully split and sharply struck. When you find a coin with bright surfaces, full bands, and a clean strike, you've already got something special. But if you happen to combine those qualities with a fabulous mint error or a high professional grade from PCGS or NGC, well, now you've crossed into the territory where serious buyers pay serious money. It's important to know that these rare 1990 dimes didn't all end up in collector hands. Many slipped into general circulation and have been quietly traveling the country for over 30 years. That means you could still find them in everyday change, hiding in sidewalk vending machines, lying at the bottom of your desk drawer, or sitting unnoticed inside an old coffee can inherited from a relative. That's why coin roll hunters and numismatic enthusiasts spend countless hours hunting through bank-wrapped rolls, always hoping to be the one to spot a double die, an off-center version, or that elusive proof strike dime hiding in circulation. The thrill isn't just in the profit, it's in the sheer joy of being the one who recognized a treasure everyone else ignored. So take a moment the next time you receive a handful of change, don't waste your opportunity. Flip those dimes over, look for the mint mark, study Roosevelt's profile, trace your finger gently along the ridged rim, and shine a light across the torch to check the bands. Train your eye to notice faint doubling, unusual shapes, or anything that feels off. Because today we're entering the mysterious universe of the 1991 United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime, a piece of pocket change so familiar that most people don't even look at it before spending it, yet packed with secrets that could change your life. If you've ever tossed a dime into a tip jar or kicked one across the street thinking it was worthless, this video will have you questioning everything you know about spare change, because hiding among those dull silver-colored discs might be a numismatic treasure waiting for someone exactly like you to discover it. So sit back and stay tuned, because once you uncover all the shocking details about rarity, design anomalies, and error types connected to the 1991 Roosevelt dime, you'll never overlook another coin again. Let's begin with a little background. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. His strong and dignified profile became the face of the dime and has remained virtually unchanged into modern times. One of the smallest coins in the U.S. system, it sometimes gets ignored, but not by coin collectors, because serious numismatists know that within particular years like 1991, seemingly ordinary mint runs produced dazzling rarities. That year, Roosevelt dimes were made at 3 mints, Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S, on proof coins. While hundreds of millions were produced in Philadelphia and Denver, only San Francisco created the mirror finish proof strikes. Proofs alone can command attention, but the real thrill of the 1991 dime lies in the unbelievable mint errors and ultra-high-grade varieties that slipped quietly into existence. Error hunters know that the transition into the 1990s saw the mint introducing updated machinery and dies, and whenever big changes occur, strange things happen on coins. You might find a 1991 dime struck off-center, with part of the design missing because the blank was not properly placed during the strike. You might see a double die where lettering such as "In God We Trust," the date, or Roosevelt's ear and eye appear to have shadowy duplicates layered on top, something only visible under magnification but worth a fortune. There are also wrong planchet errors where a 1991 dime was accidentally minted on a blank meant for a penny or even a foreign coin, resulting in odd colors, thicknesses, or weights your fingers instantly feel are different. These are the coins that leave expert collectors sweating with excitement because they are so rare that every new discovery makes headlines in the numismatic world. Beyond error coins, serious value also hides in pristine specimens. A normal circulated 1991 dime might be covered in scratches and dull gray wear, but an uncirculated example pulled from a sealed mint set can glitter as if it was pressed yesterday. Look closely at Roosevelt's hair. Are the tiny curls sharp and distinct? Can you see every separation in the torch flame and both horizontal bands around it on the reverse? Those so-called full bands are a golden standard among collectors, indicating the coin was struck with incredible pressure and preserved without wear. Most coins never meet those standards. That's why when one appears, graded mint state 67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, collectors go to war at auction. The cleaner and more radiant the surfaces are, the deeper those bids go. Combine such a flawless coin with a dramatic error and you now have not just a curiosity, but a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. What's truly amazing is that many spectacular 1991 Roosevelt dimes didn't go straight into serious collections. Instead, they slipped into circulation with the rest. They were spent on groceries, lost behind couch cushions, tossed into jars, packed into forgotten piggy banks, or rolled up tight and dropped off at banks by people who never suspected anything was special about them. That means your chances of finding one today are still very real, sitting quietly in old rolls, family coin stashes, yard sale junk, or casual pocket change. People all across the United States and beyond have accidentally come across these rare dimes, and when they've taken the time to look closely, the results have been nothing short of life-changing. Some of the greatest finds in coin collecting history weren't made by dealers or museums, but by ordinary people with sharp eyes and a little patience. If you find yourself examining a pile of 1991 dimes, train your eyes to spot the signs others miss. First, check for the mint mark location. does it look normal? Is it doubled or strangely shaped? Next, study Roosevelt's face. Do the words Liberty or I in God We Trust seem thicker or doubled? Take a glance at the date. Is the 1991 clear and sharp, or could it be an error variety? Then flip the coin over under a strong light, look at the torch, branches, and bands. True full-band examples stand out like sparkling crystal. Push further by checking edge thickness and sound. Wrong planchet coins often look and even feel slightly off. When something about a coin feels different, don't ignore it. It might be your first clue that you're holding a silent fortune in your hand. The beauty of collecting is that it reminds us that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes it hides beneath 30+ years of ordinary circulation. But if you're patient, careful, and passionate, you could be the next person to uncover a legendary dime that makes headlines and steals hearts in the collecting world. So keep hunting, keep looking, and never take even the tiniest coin for granted. You never know when destiny might slip into your hand disguised as loose change, because if luck is on your side and you discover the finest 1991 Roosevelt dime with a dramatic error or ultra-high grade, its value could soar to an incredible $72,000.